out of my Davis Lavis
I don't
joke.
want to seem... Ow. Why do I keep running into this? Hello humans, my name is Dale Kingsmill, and this is a new episode of Memory Lane, the show where we take your anecdotes and we use them to try to capture those stories that only come to mind in the heat of a conversation.
Slippers. It's like Harry Potter with the wands and the memories.
I really hated the 5th book because I hated the pensieve.
Really?
I hated the Legolemency stuff and I hated the pensieve stuff. And there was so much of that in the 5th book and the 6th
Your father was a swine!
We got distracted by Harry Potter for a hot minute there.
Swine!
Did I introduce myself?
You said hello, humans.
I said that I'm Dale. It's fine. With me today, Anthony and Natalie. Why did I start saying it in that voice? If you don't know how this show works, we're going to be taking an anecdote that has been provided by you lovely people, either in the comments on YouTube or over at reddit.com/r/MonarchsFactory, where there is another submission thread. We will be pulling one of those out of this safari helmet of mine and using it to kick off a conversation where we will give ourselves 10 minutes to see what stories come to the forefront of our thoughts, and we will tell you many stories. That's a good explanation, Dale. Go ahead and pick one.
Ooh, it's like the claw.
Oh. Ooh.
Oh, it's short and sweet.
You sounded so enthusiastic.
Short and sweet. Just Two Eyes says,
Not really a phrase, but I had a teacher who came into class with sunglasses and a baseball bat and said, "I'm here to scar kids for life and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum." Well...
Is that allowed? Alright, let's not get into stories straight away. We need to...
Just Two Eyes. Did she scar you or he scar you for life?
With the baseball bat?
Yeah.
Because if they scarred you with a baseball bat, then
Physical
that's like
scars
physical,
or mental scars?
Definitely, or both. Alright, that was beautiful. Alright, now we're going to give ourselves 10 minutes and we're going to see where down memory lane this takes us. So I don't know about you guys, but I definitely had hellish substitutes once or twice.
Oh.
Substitute teachers who were just
Horrible.
we had this one woman who, she came into class, we knew it was going to be bad when, Casey, who was one of our, she was our school captain, you know, when we got to the end of school, and she was SRC the whole way through, and she was just like the sweetest person, and she walked into the classroom and she was finishing like a muesli bar, and she put the last bite in her mouth and threw the rubbish in the bin, and the teacher turned around, this woman we've never seen before, and screamed at her and said, "Recess is over." Alright, so if you're going to be the kind of person who eats in class, you can just get out right now. And we were like, okay, well...
Davis Lavis.
Yeah, we were just like, I feel like no class ever necessarily reacts well to a substitute. You know, everyone takes advantage. And mucks around and whatever. But that was the moment that we were like, okay,
maybe not.
Collective consciousness. No mercy. And so then everyone was fake names on the roll because they always hand out a sheet of paper instead of like having a roll with them. What's that all about? And so everyone was different fake names. There were a lot of vendors and things like that. But it just got more and more dramatic as we went through the lesson, and there was a moment where two of the girls at the back of the class were chatting, and one of them was apparently talking about her mum, because her mum was menopausal at the time. And the teacher just thought that she was talking about her and was like, I heard that! I heard you calling me menopausal! And we were like, what the hell
Was this high school or primary
This
school?
was high school.
Oh, okay.
And she ended up giving about
Don't make me
2/3 of the
menopausal
class
all
a pink slip, which was like this thing where for the next few weeks you had to get teachers to sign off the sheet at the end of class to say that you'd behaved and done work. Like, 2/3 of the class got this thing and got detentions, like lunchtime detentions or after school detentions or whatever, for like little to no reason, all of them. And then it got just bizarro when she started. One of my friends, Namala, who is of Indian descent,
I know.
she started saying stuff to Namala about, because we were drama students, and she was saying, oh yeah, you're just like a Hollywood actress. Take 5, Namala. Take 5. But then that was weird enough. But then it started becoming like just heaps of Bollywood references, and we were like, this is just straight up racism.
What?
We ended up, my friend and I had to go and find the head teacher of history and just say, okay, we need to talk about how everyone got detention because everyone should not be on detention because of a crazy lady. So that was my most hellish substitute teacher.
Two. The first one is from high school. I was told off by the deputy principal. I was not a bad child, and I was never like told off or anything for high school, I don't think. But it was in year 12, and I wanted to, because I had so many subjects for my HSC, and I wanted to get rid of music because I felt like really self-conscious about the performance, and I wasn't putting, even though I like loved music so much and the teacher was like the best ever, I felt like so bad, but I was like, okay, I'm going to drop it. But for a long time I was like deliberating over, like trying to think if I should do it or not. And he came in one day like to see if I'd done it or not, and like in my Extension 1 English class, and he goes, Anthony, you're all thought and no action. Like in front of the whole class, and he said it really coldly. And like the teacher was just like stayed silent, and then she like looked at me as if to say like that was a dick thing. And I was just like, ugh. But anyway,
Did you drop it right then
so it
and
always
there?
sticks with you, huh?
Did you drop it right then and there? Like, this is for action.
Maybe, yeah. But it's actually a good quote.
That's
Screw you.
Do you
Take
know how I
action.
left legal studies at the end of year 12?
Ooh,
It
I'm
was
so ready for this story.
don't build it up. It was just the day of an assessment, and I had been like umming and ahhing, am I gonna drop legal studies or society and culture? And then it was the day of an assessment, and I was like, yeah, this assessment was really bad. So I just popped my head in the door and said, by the way, sir, I left this class. Alright, see you. And
That's
then
like a bad breakup.
and then
Oh, sorry,
and
I'm not
then
breaking up with you.
in music class later that day, because our music teacher was like the head of something. So I just said to her, by the way, I'm dropping this class. I already told him this morning, so I need to drop it now.
I have a disobedient story where for some reason like because I've always been good in school, but once we got this substitute teacher, and I must have, I don't know if I had sugar or something, but for some reason I was just feeling devious all of a sudden. And I was just like talking throughout the whole class, enjoying myself and all that, and you could tell he was just getting more impatient and impatient. This is primary school, year 6. And for some reason, I don't know why, this is going back to episode 2, I just did this massive fart in class. It's like really like the kind of fart that just everyone goes silent
Like
at.
a disobedient
Yeah.
fart.
And he goes, sit over there. And I said it was just a fart. Sit over there.
Davis!
Davis.
Oh,
Sounds like you.
gee whiz. Oh, no.
On the
I just
giving the whole
can't.
class detention.
Mm-hmm.
In year 6, we had a substitute teacher. I only think she was a substitute for us that one day, but she did the same thing where she's like, everyone's acting up, and I'm going to put you all in
So
detention.
everyone gets punished.
And for some reason, she had 2 lists on either side of the whiteboard, and she had a boys and a girls list. I don't know why she needed to write a detention list for 2 different.
Separate them.
But that's
it's
how she.
important.
That's how she did it. And so she was like, "You, what's your name?" And she put him up on the boys list, and then one on the girls. And there was this one time she got a group of them, and she goes, "What are all of your names?" And so one kid just said all the names, and one of the kids' names was Nelson, but we all called him Nelly. And so when it got to Nelly, she didn't know which side of the board to put that on, and she started putting it on the girls' side, and we're like, "Nelly's a boy." And then she yelled at us for that. We got in trouble for that. She was like,
God.
"Don't you tell me Nelly is a boy's name." And I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
We won't.
It's really weird.
I've got 2 teacher
jeez.
stories. One of them is this like posh like teacher that I'd like to be when I'm old. He would just like come into our classroom. He's the one that did the play with us in that other episode I was talking about the play. And at the start of every classroom, I remember he used to just like read from a newspaper and tell us about stories. Like it's just really, it's like, have you been hearing about this? Anyway, and then another teacher, substitute teacher, she had this like game she used to play for like detention. It was like called the talking game or something. Every time you talk, you're in, and you're going to be the one to get detention. But then someone else would talk, and then they'd be in.
Oh.
And she like encouraged all the students to like be her spies, and it was like so like weird. It was almost
That's
like a despotic
terrifying and
state.
bad, but also I love it.
Yeah, so it's the talking game.
Genius.
So
Yeah,
take
no,
notes.
I was constantly. I often cite the fact that in high school, I was in the top maths class all the way through. I think at least from year 9 onwards. But I dropped maths in year 11.
Entirely.
When
I did that
You could
too.
do that.
I think
Yeah.
it's different depending on your school. Like the only statewide
Okay, I
rule.
don't think we
the
could.
only statewide rule is that you have to do English, but then different schools, like religious schools, tend to say you have to do
Ours were
religion and things like
English and religion were the only two compulsory.
Mine was only English. No, but I did maths and I dropped it for year 11 and year 12, and I just stayed. I often say that I skipped an entire term's worth of maths classes, but that's because I was going to a more difficult maths class, because they put us, for the last term of year 10, they put us in different classes based on what we were doing in year 11, and if you weren't doing maths at all, you were in this class where it was like, it was like if you turn left while, if you're facing south and you turn left twice, what direction are you facing? It was ridiculous. So I just never went, and I went to my friend's, the top maths class instead, and it took a solid 2 months before the teacher realised that I wasn't supposed to be in that class, I think, because there were 2 teachers and one of them had no idea. The other one knew and just didn't. He'd taught me for 2 years and knew by then not to fight me. But yeah, and then like chemistry, I planned to drop when I finished year 11 because I didn't need that many subjects. But then English Extension 2 didn't run and I got stuck doing chemistry.
I was in advanced.
It was fine. I was all right.
Yeah.
But,
high school, I was in advanced maths all the way through. Even though I was like, I wasn't the best at maths, but I really put my effort in. And I remember there was an advanced class, but then there was like this really advanced class. And once we had the teacher from the advanced class, the really one, as a teacher, and he just kept on talking down on us and saying, "Oh, my class could have done this, my class could have done this." I was just like,
Well, I'm sorry I don't want to become a mathematician.
I feel really bad because I was sitting next to my best friend, Stephanie, all the way through maths in high school.
Meyer.
And yes, author of Twilight. And she was really good at maths, but like quick and naturally talented, so we'd be chatting and whatever, and the teacher would ask her a question and she'd just be able to look at the board and work out the answer really quickly. Whereas I would be chatting with Stephanie the whole time, and instead the teacher would ask me to answer the question and I would try Jedi mind tricks. I was like, "You do not want to ask me this question," and he'd just give up and leave me alone. There was a time when I was good at maths, but
"You'll go
I
and
gave
rethink
up.
your life."
So that's it. We've run out of time for today on Memory Lane. I hope
Next
that
time we'll be wearing different shirts.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll even have a different hat. Ooh, so many options. I do own a lot of hats that we could be pulling from. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, I hope that some stories began to stir in your memories and that you will share them with us in the comments down below this YouTube video, or over on reddit.com/r/MonarchsFactory, where we have a thread where you can submit your anecdotes there as well. I have been Dale Kingswell. You can find me over on Twitter as well at DailyDale. Anthony, where can they find you? It gets bigger every time.
Since you've asked, I'm going to tell you. You can find me on YouTube at the channel called The Russian Blue. Find me, we do wonderful videos. There's this wonderful show I've just started called It's My Life, and you should join me. There's little bits of wisdom and humour, and it's great. Join in. Anyway, and I'm also on Twitter and Instagram at The Russian Blue. So find me and be with me, and not in that...
That just got... It went to like 5 strange new places. Now, how about you?
It's, look, I'm not gonna lie. It's still the same day. I still don't have Twitter.
We know that you can tell. We've got the same shirts on.
Yeah.
It's...
You know, and let us know if you've been enjoying this. Yeah?
Please do.
Yeah, because it's something new.
I certainly hope so. It's been a lot of fun for us to be filming.
Yeah, and very sweaty.
It's a really hot day, guys.
Yes.
It's a
And we've
sauna.
got lights on. It's like a whole thing. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to this channel for weekly content. Apart from that, I do believe that's it. I'm done. Email this to your grandma, and we will see you some other time.
You know it, baby.
What happens to you? Oh, so close.
What happened?
She nearly hit your lens.
Oh.
Nearly. You know, it's because you're rolling it, I reckon, rather than... you gotta make it
Scrunching?
really aerodynamic.